month. It was properly posted, and we are live. We are live?
Yes.
All right. The first order of business is approval of minutes. Plan on doing the regular session and the executive session. Regular session from April 20th and executive session from May 14th. This time I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion we approve the minutes as presented.
Rob made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Nathan seconded. All in favor? 4-0 pass. Now presentation of claims. Have those in your board packet. This time I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
Mr. President, I'll go ahead. Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
John made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Nathan seconded. All in favor? 4-0 pass. At this time, we'll open up for patron concerns, public interest. Nothing. Moving on to informational reports. High school principal, Daryl.
Good evening. At the junior, senior high school level, we are winding things down. We have graduation coming up on this Friday. I believe all of indicated that you will be there. Is that?
Yes.
Yes.
Is
7
Brad,
o'clock Friday
you know,
night.
if Brad will be back or?
I'm not sure on that one. I'll find out for you.
Okay. We will have seats available. We are not doing staging this year. We're going to go flat on the floor, so we won't have anybody falling off the back.
Oh,
So,
you did that?
well, I have, so. Not mentioning any names. No workman's comp though, so that was a good one. As you can see in there's quite a bit of things on here. I am not going to read everything. I'm just going to highlight some things. The band did get a silver rating at their ISMA organizational competition. We've had very good success with our kids going to Super Bowls, Math Bowl, Language Bowls, and you can see those two highlights there. FFA has ended their year with a 3rd place in the poultry, and then we also got a gold rating for their national rating once again. And then would like to highlight one student who is, I don't know if you know this or not, we used to be District 10 with FFA. We're now District 9, which means we're the farthest or the southernmost school going north now. And we go all the way up to Cloverdale area. And we now have a treasurer that will be representing District 9, so that's a great deal, Braylon Schwarzentrooper. And there's one other item. We have started recognizing throughout the corporation individuals, you want to come up and do this, who have served North Davies well. I got my 25-year plaque, and we are awarding a 30-year plaque.
That means I'm old.
That's exactly what I said. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
30 years.
I'm not that old, are we? Is that it? That's all in order.
That's me.
Your part?
Thank you, Mr. Darrow. Ms. Judy.
All right.
Well, at the elementary, it's been very busy as well. I've got a couple of highlights here. I won't read, like he said, I won't read everything, but we had our annual softball tournament. We do a 6th grade versus staff softball tournament every single year, and the kids at the elementary get to come out and watch us. And we had that last Thursday. It was a good day. It was originally scheduled for Friday, but we were a little worried about the rain coming in. So it was a good time had by all. We look forward to this coming Thursday. Our graduating seniors from the high school are going to be coming down to the elementary and doing their traditional walkthrough. They start at the 6th grade doors and meander through the school all the way out the kindergarten doors. So we're looking forward to that as well. Kindergarten, or as far as grade level wise, our little kindergartners participated in their own Kentucky Derby horse parade today. So if you watched on Facebook, you got to see all of their hard work on their little horses that they made out of pool noodles go through the school. They've also recently visited the library in the Oden Park. Our first grade has visited the Oden Park. We've had a couple of preschools come through, Bethel Little Lambs and Oden Christian Church. Every year they schedule to bring their preschoolers in to get a little bit of taste of the elementary, find out what the classrooms look like, and Mrs. Cook leads the way on that. Our 5th and 6th grade students held their final band concert recently, and our 6th grade went to the Military Museum over in Vincennes recently. Also visited NASCO and the courthouse at Davis County, and rounded out that field trip with Champion Lanes to do some PE exercise by bowling. So they had a good time there as well. We had a convocation last week with our 6th grade. They participated in an internet safety program convocation with Grayson Pertawall. Mrs. Cook, Mrs. Kidwell, and Mr. Parsons assisted him, and it was very informative. I know Mrs. Kidwell came into my office and told me a lot about what they had talked about, and some statistics and just some, it's kind of scary out there, so we got to monitor what our students and what our children at home are doing as well. Our 6th grade awards is this Wednesday coming up at 1 o'clock. Parents have all been invited by the 6th grade teachers. We also hosted a local preschool meeting on Thursday the 14th. It was very busy on the 14th. We had the Oden Christian Church, Bethel Little Lambs, Tony's Tots, and the Davis Martin Special Ed preschools here, and it was a very informative session. We got to do some vertical articulation with the pre-K infant standards all the way up through kindergarten, so they got to see, preschool teachers could see how those aligned. So it was very informative, and we learned some things off of some of the preschool teachers, so very good session that we had. Our elementary staff was treated to a cookout last Wednesday, May 6th, and they enjoyed the cookout. We had hamburgers and hot dogs and chips and all kinds of goodies for Teacher Appreciation Week, and we thank all of those businesses that supported us, and especially Oden Locker for giving us all a gift card here to all the staff. I'm sure they'll use that soon, if not already. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Judy. Okay, Dr. Stone.
The first part is all embargo, so I won't be reading any of it, but you can kind of look through those numbers for iRead and the science results. The iLearn, we don't anticipate scores coming back from it probably till August, and that's just because they have to reset what their cut scores are and everything, because this is the new test for the iLearn this year. And science was new last year, and we didn't get results in it until about August, so we don't anticipate those to come for a while. But when we do, we'll get you up to date on it. Technology-wise, kind of busy time for them. Right now, we're going to be collecting the devices over the next week. Both buildings, get them inventoried, starting the process of re-imaging, etc. But we also have completed our 2nd year of our initiative to phase out Windows laptops in favor of Chromebooks. By the end of 2029-30 school year, all grade levels will be fully transitioned to Chromebooks. Because 95% of our classroom technology products are web-based, this transition is incredibly seamless for our students and staff, and is projected to save the corporation $500,000 over the 6 years. So I thought it was very important. A lot of the things, even Microsoft products, are all online now. So everything the kids can use, they can do it online. We only have a few programs in a very select few classes at the high school that need an actual physical software on their device anymore. So,
And we will still, accommodate that.
Yeah.
But, a couple of classes versus the entire student body, it just doesn't make sense to continue with window products that are double the price of a Chromebook, when a Chromebook will meet the needs of 95% at least of our students.
right, and it's not a software issue for Microsoft, because with our licenses for our teachers, all the students get that stuff free, so they still have access to it online. The cost is in the device. That's the biggest cost, so the Chromebooks are a lot cheaper.
And then I had written down under Dr. Stone's segment, Parent Square, and we're not really ready to go in depth with that, but it's a product that's coming that we're looking at for communication pieces as well as, is it class intercom or school intercom?
Classroom intercom.
Classroom intercom. So those are two products that we'll be bringing to you in the future, probably at the June meeting, to share with you what those two products are going to do for parent and social media outreach.
Is the new testing, state testing, better for you to, everybody to understand?
Well, so far, the way they have the checkpoint set up, yes. It's allowed us to be better organized, to know what standards we need to do each 9 weeks to organize for it. They're actually giving them kids kind of a practice time to see how they do on those, so we can actually see it a little bit better. So the setup itself is a lot better. They're still working out some bugs that they had, but the program, it is adaptive, so it does kind of give the kid where they're at, kind of hones in on it instead of just a specific amount of scores. So the data we get out of it's actually pretty good, but the layout that they're doing now and their willingness to share is better than it's ever been in my 20 years as an administrator.
And you have some input, you can put input to the state on?
Yes, in fact, today I finished a survey that they sent out asking questions on it, and a lot of the things centered around Opportunity 2, because it's, first of all, the question I asked is, what's the purpose? What are you getting out of Opportunity 2? Because we are remediating already, and the way they had Opportunity 2 set was it was a fixed test instead of computer adaptive, so it wasn't the same as Opportunity 1. So it was like, why are you doing something different? And they really didn't share that part with us. And so we're still trying to figure out what's the purpose of Opportunity 2. Because Opportunity 1 gives us a really good look at what we need to work on with the kids, and then we remediate and move forward, and we get to the next checkpoint, then the next checkpoint. We just don't see how it fits right now. So that's the question I asked.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Barry?
I have a roofing update in your packets. There was 2 sheets that were taped together because my printer won't print on 11 by 14. Every 2 weeks, Mr. Geralds and Mr. Wagler and I set in with the Quality Roofing Services Company as well as Moisture Management, and we talk about, okay, where are we at? Are we ahead of schedule, behind schedule, and what's on the list? The dark blue bar graph that you see is production where we're at. The light blue is the goal. So we are actually ahead of schedule right now with the roofing, and we're ahead of schedule with the flashing. The sheet metal isn't supposed to start until week 6, which I believe is next week. So right now we have high hopes that we're staying on ahead of schedule and should finish on time. So every 2 weeks, I will give you this similar update. As far as issues that we've had, there really haven't been any besides accommodating the weather. They've been out here on Sundays working. They've been coming in, was it Jed, 4 a.m. that the roofing company has been showing up Sundays?
As early as 3, yeah.
In the morning and coming out and working. So they're doing their best to stay on task and ahead of schedule. So we appreciate their hard work.
They've not mentioned any major change orders or anything coming on.
No, we had one change order that was a credit to us, and then within a week, they have discovered that there are areas along the perimeter of the roof where there's no wood. in certain sections, and, you know, which sounds like an easy fix, but then when they go to put the wood in, well, then the two levels aren't the same height. So they're working on a fix for that, and we don't have that change order yet. So while we had I think it was a $35,000 credit change order, we're probably gonna turn around and hand that right back. And so, you know, it'll be a give and take like that through the whole process, I'm sure.
Well, they've certainly been challenged by the high winds and rain. I haven't seen what they've been doing, but I've seen them on the roof, and I can only imagine what it's just like, it has to be worse up there on the roof.
Yeah, you know, we had warned them it's windy here, and then of course, the wind that we were warning them of wasn't anything like what we actually got. This has probably been the windiest month and a half that we've had on this campus in a long time.
Yeah, agreed.
Another update, our new bus, ND8, arrived Friday, May 15th. So we'll get that inspected by the state police, and then it'll be put into the rotation for Gen Ed routes and ECA routes as well. That is a traditional yellow bus, which replaces the old ND8 that we decommissioned at the last meeting. I did speak with the NDOT regarding a destination sign on I-69 saying where our school corporation was, what exit, and I had to call, of course, the Indianapolis number, and then he was going to push it out to the Vincennes office. That was Thursday of last week. I'm waiting for a reply from them. So, but we plan to have destination signs, is what they're called, stating North Davis Community Schools, next exit, or something like that. The painting is to start in the elementary as soon as school is out. Later in the agenda, I do have paraprofessionals, non-certified staff, who we have decided to allow to paint it. I felt like as long as it was monitored and done well, that we might as well put some money back into the hands of some quality individuals that don't have summer employment that we employ during the school year. So we look forward to that getting started next week.
Did the glue, how did the sanding process come today? Did it work out? Or how, I was
I think
curious.
it did, Steve. Steve did most of that for us. They scored the wallpaper, pulled it down, and then he used that handy little sander thing, and it seems to have worked to our satisfaction at least. We're hoping we could get by with 2 coats and that's it, but we'll see how it goes when they start applying it. I would say the cutting in, the taping off that it's going to require, and the amount of painter's tape that we're going to have to use is going to be the biggest time consumption, so.
What did you say ND8, its purpose is going to be here?
Just like the other buses that are yellow, it'll be used for Gen Ed routes that we have. We own 3 of our routes. And then if another non-school owned route breaks down, those bus drivers rent our buses at a cost. And then we also use them for ECA activities, so games, etc., field trips.
Okay, now on to personnel.
Personnel terminations, we have none. Retirements, we have been very blessed to have 2 amazing teachers at North Davies Corporation for years and years, and John Mokris has been with us for 30 years. He's been in education for 30 years, and he is wanting to retire effective at the end of the 25-26 contract. And then Ronetta Boo has had 32 years in education, 8 years at North Davies, and she is our junior-senior high school Spanish teacher. And she would also like to retire at the end of the 25-26 contract. The PE position of Mr. Mokris, we will not be replacing that position due to changes in the graduation requirements for the state. Ronetta Boo's Spanish position, we will be replacing. So request approval of their retirements.
Further request, do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the retirements as presented.
Ron made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Nathan seconded. All in favor? 4-0 pass.
And then resignations, Mr. Brian Whitney has been with us for a couple of years for round 2, and he has recently been remarried and is moving down with his wife. So he will be resigning his junior, senior high school English language arts position effective at the end of this contract. We will be replacing that position.
Okay. Heard the request for resignation, do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion to accept the resignation of Brian Whitney.
Nathan made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
John seconded, all in favor? 4-0 pass.
We don't have any leaves. New hires, the elementary painting crew at $15 an hour for the month of June to start with, and then we'll reassess because currently we only have the intermediate wing stripped of wallpaper and sanding. So if it goes well and we make progress and get the intermediate wing done, we might start on the primary end. I have told these 3 individuals, and we're trying to find a 4th one, that it'll definitely take the month of June. And beyond that, we'll reassess before June is up and then decide for July. But requesting approval of Tanya Coletta, Naomi Graber, Kelly Collins, and a 4th yet to be named for $15 an hour for the month of June for painting. So painting and anything else to do with the painting, the prepping, etc.
Okay, for the recommendation for elementary painters, do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the hiring of the elementary painting crew.
Nathan made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? 4-0 pass.
The 2026 summer school staff for the elementary. Reminder, last month you approved the actual formatting of that summer school. Mrs. Judy has the recommendations and I support recommending Angie Ashby for incoming kindergarten at her hourly rate. Tammy Meyer, incoming grades 2, 3, and 4 at her hourly rate. And then Kelly Collins, incomings grade 2, 3, and 4 as a para at our para rate of $15.84 an hour. And Dee Carnes would like to be a para at the para rate for incoming grades 2, 3, and 4 at $15.84 an hour.
Okay, for the summer school staffing recommendations, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. President, I make a motion for the elementary summer school staff as presented.
John made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Nathan seconded, all in favor? 4-0 pass.
The next item are the ECA out-of-season summer stipends for 25-26. So to be clear, this is for this school year that we are finishing. This stipend is never paid until June because it runs from July 1 to June 30th. So these are all the positions that Mr. Mullen has recommended to Mr. Gerald, who has then recommended to me. Are we comfortable approving all of those at once?
Any objection?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so summer gym supervision, John Mullen. Baseball out of season, they're splitting it between Sean Berry, Trey Smith, Ashley Schertz, and Jalen Mullen. Boys and girls cross country is being split between Michael Callison and Carter Jesse. Boys tennis is being split between Adam Schulte and Chris Loheider. Girls tennis is being split between Lindsay Seacrest and Crystal McBride. Boys track being split between Trent Fine and Carter Jesse. Girls track is being split between Trent Fine and Carter Jesse. And then boys and girls summer golf will be split between Chris Loheider and Brent Dalrymple.
Okay, for the recommendations for ECA out-of-season summer stipends, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the out-of-season summer stipends for all the ECA recommendations.
Nathan made the motion, do I have a second?
Mr. President, I second the motion.
John seconded, all in favor? 4-0 pass.
And then volleyball for this coming season, 26-27 school year. Reminder, we had approved Rachel Knapp as the varsity coach. She has met with Mr. Mullen, who has then shared with Mr. Gerald and on up. to me that she would like for Hope Norris to be the varsity JV assistant. Pay is to be determined. And Hannah Raber to be in charge of the elementary programming. And again, pay to be determined. It's only to be determined because they don't know how many more staff they're going to be able to get, and that will affect how everything is divided.
You've heard the recommendations for volleyball coaches. Entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to accept the volleyball 26-27 hires as presented.
John made a motion, do I have a second?
I will second.
Rob seconded, all in favor? 4-0.
Football 26-27 school year. Coach Fine, varsity coach, is requesting approval of Jonathan J.C. Lewis as a varsity JV assistant. Again, pay is to be determined.
Where's he from?
Eastern Green, originally. I'm not sure, Jed, is that, remind me, is that where he's been currently?
He's teaching right now at WRB,
That's what it was.
but he's a graduate of Eastern Green. His dad is superintendent.
I've heard the recommendation, I'll entertain a motion this time.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the ECA football recommendation of Jonathan Lewis.
Nathan made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Rob seconded, all in favor? 4-0 pass.
Girls basketball for 26-27 school year and season. Joey Riggins would like to request Kendall Whitmer as a volunteer coach.
Entertain a motion regarding the girls' basketball volunteer.
Mr. President, I make a motion we approve Kendall Whitmer as a volunteer.
Rob made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Nathan seconded, all in favor? 4-0 pass.
And the last item in this section, as we typically do at the end of every school year for part of the summer, requesting permission to hire any upcoming certified and non-certified replacements between now and June 15th. The reason I ask that is every year that I ask that is that we're interviewing right now. And we would like to be able to give the person that we choose reasonable reassurance that their name will be brought and approved in June, is our hope. We just don't want to lose anybody. We want to be able to offer them that job. I know Mrs. Judy has interviews set up for any potential elementary openings, and I know Mr. Gerald's already has Spanish interviews set up.
And then English.
And English set up. And then I also have interviews set up that Darlene had made, Darlene Keith, for the Assistant Food Service Director. So we've got a busy couple of weeks coming up as soon as school's done. So just requesting permission for replacement hires between now and June 15th. If we find a candidate that we want, that we can reasonably reassure them that their name's being taken.
Okay, you've heard the request for the proactive hiring process. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. President, I make a motion for any upcoming openings as presented with the permission to hire.
John made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Nathan seconded, all in favor? 4-0 pass.
Mr. Berry, did we skip over number 7?
Scratched it. I dropped it from the
Okay,
agenda.
sorry.
That's okay. Other business. Annual request, approval to apply and accept any and all state and federal grants and programs such as Gifted and Talented, Title I, Title IIA, Title III, Title IV, commodity programs, and National School Lunch Program. This is an annual request, just acknowledging that we are going to pursue those monies.
You've heard the grant request. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the request to pursue state and federal programs.
Nathan made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'm seconding, all in favor? 4-0 pass.
Next item, we've taken care of elementary summer school. Now that the school year is winding down, we have more solidified numbers for the junior, senior high school, summer school accelerated learning plan. We have some students who need credit recovery, and we have students who can't get some classes in and also do Twin Rivers. So we have about 20 students at my last count that need one and or the other for this summer. They're looking at and are requesting to run that program from June 1st to June 26th and July 6th through the 30th. This is the exact same format that we used last year, and it is done through Edmentum. And we do have a local teacher, high school teacher, Amy Graber, that would oversee the program and check in with the students during the week, and then also administer the tests in person. The kids have to come on site to take the test. Again, this is identical to last year, so I'm not only requesting approval of the plan, but also requesting approval of Mrs. Amy Graber being the monitor of the plan. It would be 32 total hours for Mrs. Graber at her hourly rate. That's 4 hours a week. It's 2 hours to monitor, 2 hours to administer the test. And the test she offers both in the morning and in late afternoon. So if their work life interferes, we accommodate getting them in here for the test.
Okay, here in the summer school plan and staffing requests, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. President, I make a motion we approve the summer school accelerated learning plan as presented.
Rob made a motion, second.
I'll second.
John seconds. All in favor? 4-0 pass.
Okay, the next section is student handbook, and in your board packets, you have a copy of the entire handbook, and then highlighted in yellow are the changes to the handbook. I'm going to go through those changes, some of them quickly, some of them more in depth. Page 1, we added Dusty Cole's name to the page. He is our new high school assistant principal. On page 11, we just cleaned up that they are not allowed to use their cell phones while at school. If they're sick, they're supposed to go to the office and request to contact parents that way. Page 18 is the new personal wireless device that is in line with Senate Enrolled Act 78, which basically means all personal communication devices are stowed away during the day. They are off and they are not on their person. They are either in their cars, in their cubbies, or in their lockers. Cubbies is an elementary word. They have cubbies, they don't have lockers. Mr. Gerald sent out a request to area principals, because this is more of a high school issue. The elementary already has the policy that they're in their cubbies. But Mr. Gerald solicited feedback to area schools. I forget how many schools we got back, but
20 maybe.
and then the admin team met, went over what they were doing around us, and we came up with our plan. Everybody has to say you can't have them, but then we also have to cite what our discipline is going to be. That's part of the requirement. So the high school and elementary administration and central office felt that the appropriate disciplinary action for violation of this Senate Enrolled Act should be, number one, if you refuse to turn over your phone, it's an automatic 1-day OSS plus a 3-day ISS, in-school suspension, when you return. Phone is released to the parent and it's reported in Harmony. Harmony is our student information system where we track discipline, grades, communication, all kinds of stuff. For first offense, the phone is confiscated, released to the parent, the phone is released to the parent and reported in Harmony. Second offense, take the phone, give it to the parent, 1-day in-school suspension. Third offense, take the phone, give it to the parent, 3 days in-school suspension, put it in Harmony. Fourth time and further, it's 3 days in-school suspension, confiscate the phone, phone released to the parent, and report it in Harmony.
On this, this SEA 78 personal wireless devices, that is a state mandated.
Yes.
State, not North Davis School Corporation, state, correct?
State.
All right.
And I've started putting in You'll notice it says SEA 78, because I want that to draw attention that this isn't a North Davis policy.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to reiterate that
No, I
to
appreciate
anyone
that.
on Facebook listening, that this is a state mandated.
State mandate. You know, last year we went to, can't have them in the classrooms, but you can have them during passing periods and at lunch at the high school. Elementary was still in the cubbies. So then the state came back this year and said, we're taking it a step further. We want them stowed away during the day, bell to bell. So we have defined what a school day is. And I want to be clear too. It's cell phones, smartwatches, smart glasses, listening devices. If it's not a school-issued device, it shouldn't be out. That's essentially what the state wants,
Per state guidelines.
per state guidelines. So a school day at the high school, we've defined from 8 o'clock to the driver dismissal bell. We have to specify driver because bus riders have their bell. We get them on the bus and they get out of here, and then we release drivers. So it's 8 a.m. to driver dismissal bell. At the elementary, it's 7:45 to bus rider dismissal bell. Same scenario. She has kids going with parents first, and then the bus riders are dismissed. So we have defined what the school day is. So during those times, nothing should be out. And again, this is first reading, so it's a chance for you guys to digest and then ask questions now, and then second reading will be at the June board meeting. So do you have any questions from any of the administration?
What's gonna be the grace period on this?
0.
0. Their warning is signing of the handbook.
Okay.
That's their warning. We went back and forth about that, and I said, you know what, it's in that, and some schools are doing the same thing we are. Some of them are doing first warning, second warning. They know, they're gonna be told, it's in the handbook. They sign off on this handbook at registration. Parents that are listening, this is the rule, this is a state mandate. We're not gonna give and take and keep giving warnings. We're gonna take it and they're gonna have to come get it. They being the parent will have to come get it.
So what's the consequence for, let's say, a teacher that's allowing it to happen?
It's a good question. The only time this is not violated is the student has been given permission by a teacher for a class project or assignment. Now, if we find out that it's not a class project or assignment and it's free time, we will deal with that internally. And there will be repercussions and discipline with the staff. Then it is not considered a violation if they have been given permission by an administrator for some reason. It is not a violation if they have a healthcare condition that they need a device to monitor their healthcare condition, but we have to have documentation from the physician. It's not just going to be, but I know, what does the doctor say? Give us documentation.
Yeah.
And the last example would be if it's part of the student's individual educational plan, IEP, or 504, which are legal binding documents. Those are the 4 areas that it would not be in violation to have. Good question.
Do we have students that need their phones to monitor their personal being?
Possibly like diabetic or
Yeah.
something? Yes, we have some of that.
Okay.
We have some students who actually meet with the nurse to go over the menu to make sure they understand sugar intake, et cetera. We have some pretty severe diabetics in the corporation.
And a lot of them probably have the
Yeah.
call the button on, yeah.
So those are the types of situations that we would have the medical physician
Okay.
paperwork on file, and that would be excused. And obviously, the staff would be aware and told who those students are. So now, on the flip side, if that student is using that device in an inappropriate manner, we will then have to have a conference to discuss,
Correct. Yeah.
you know, the ramifications of that.
Okay.
Any other questions about page 18 before I go on to page 32? Okay. Page 32, the only change on that page, we took out the athletic ticket pricing. because that's not really decided until July, and we advertised that to death via social media, etc., so we just took it out. I'm not saying it's going to change, just we took it out of the handbook. Page 38. Clarified again, just repeating what a communication device is, that they're not allowed to have it during school hours, and then talking about when they can and can't have it. Just cleaned up that language to be in line with the other rule. And then page 47, I repeated the SEA 78 for Appendix K. We had an Appendix K last year that reflected last year's rules, so I took it all out and we just put in again, repeated what the rules and expectations were for SEA 78.
So basically, it's mentioned several times in the handbook about supplements, so
Yes,
should be no reason why it shouldn't be understood.
correct. And I'm sure on that first day of school, both buildings will either over the intercom or during student meetings, however you welcome them on that first day, it'll be reiterated and driven home that way as well.
Our plan is to do a push over Facebook before school starts, over the rules. And that'll be through Rebecca and that process. And we will also, at high school, have a junior high meeting and a high school meeting. We'll go over the handbook, discuss everything like attendance, like tardies, trying to redefine them so that they understand them.
So again, that's the first reading, no action necessary tonight. The second reading will be at the June meeting. The next item on the agenda, again, is first reading, and that is our 26-27 inaugural grade 7 through 12 virtual academy handbook. I'm going to let Dr. Stone talk about that.
So, just like anything else in education now, we have to be able to compete with other school districts and things for our students. And a big place that we're losing students right now is to homeschool and to virtual environments. So we have created a program to bring those students back. To start out with, our goal is that we're going to have 20 students involved with the idea that we save 10 and gain 10. That's what we want to be able to do. Save 10 kids that we may be losing to homeschool, keep them here, and then gain 10 more that maybe we've lost in the community and we want to bring them back. We are going to be using a company called EdOptions. It's part of our Edmentum programming that they offer with each one of the classes that students will take. They'll actually have a teacher that will meet with them virtually. And so that'll put no burden onto our current staff members for doing this, but also will help the students to move forward academically. We will have one staff member that will be working as part of her duties to monitor the students' progress, making sure they're doing it. Since we are using EdOptions, there is a cost to that, and so if the students are not progressing and doing their work, then they'll be removed from the program. And so we're going to make sure that we stay with what they're supposed to be doing. If they're removed from the program, they will be offered to return back to the brick and mortar school environment if they're not doing the work. Okay, so it's not a free pass just to be able to get out of school. The next thing is that we will have a application process, and we'll have a committee that goes through them with that application to ensure that they're doing this for righteous reasons and they are a good candidate for virtual school. This isn't just an option that says, I'm done with school, I don't like this teacher, I don't like that teacher, I'm just going to go virtual. That's not the plan for it. The idea is, again, to have an environment where the student needs a different environment to be able to be successful and do that, or there are other things going on at home. Maybe they, for hardship, need to work. And then the other part is we're also going to try and incorporate some of our CTE programming in as well, whether that be the work-based learning, welding, manufacturing, coop creations, etc. If we can fit that into their schedule to be able to do that. Basically, this is a local option. Right now, these virtual schools exist out of Indianapolis and other areas, and this gives us a local option that we'll be able to control and help our students graduate. These students will, if they finish and complete all their credits and go through what they're supposed to do, they will be eligible to earn an Old Davis diploma. So that's the whole point. That's what they will be leading towards. And as you can see through here, we've covered every base possible inside as far as the eligibility, registration, policy, staffing, the curriculum overview, content testing and testing, grading policy, attendance. They will have attendance every day, progress, promotion, and graduation, and code of conduct. Part of the things that our staff member that will be doing, that staff member will be taking attendance every day, making sure the students are logging in daily, and that they will follow our attendance policy. So it's not like they get a free pass for not attending. They have to get on and they have to work every day. So that's the idea. Because we know if we don't have that to monitor them, then we'll have difficulty keeping them on track. The course content and the testing, that's another thing that that person will be responsible for when the students want to either take a pre-test, which is can test out of some of the stuff based on their prior knowledge, or if they're taking post-tests, they must do it in person. So they have to come here and they will be tested at that point. So even though it is virtual, there is a fail-safe that says they're going to be doing their work. So they have to come in for the testing. That will be part of the policy that we have. These students will be required to do state testing, and so we will follow up with them if they're taking the SAT, PSAT, ILM, whatever they're supposed to take. We will organize for them to take the testing as well. On the back page, you have the financial outlay. You said before, we wanted to have 20 students in the program. Our goal eventually would be 40, but hopefully our goal isn't save 20, gain 20, it's save 10, gain 30. That would be the final goal. We feel like that will be the capacity of our program. We won't look to expand it any more than that. Any questions or concerns?
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the first reading. So again, in June, we'll go over the second reading. Operational expenditures and capital projects. We can finally pay OBA, our food service management company, some money, and I have broken down the bills by month. The total cost from July 1 to March, the end of March, is $223,734.39. I am personally tracking how does that compare to last year when we had a different FSMC in charge, and we're saving money with this company over last year, but we're going to save even more by being self-operated. So we don't have April bill, May, nor June yet from OPA, but to give you an idea, last year we paid our food service management company a total of $457,261.33. Now granted, we have 3 more months, but you can see by the dollar amounts, at the most, maybe another, I don't know, $75,000. Actually, probably more than that for 3 months, so probably about $75,000 that we may have to pay, and we're still coming out ahead compared to our expenses last year. And then when we take out the cost of the food that we're paying through current FSMC, and that we do it through our new co-op, the CLIC is what it's called, we're going to save even more, which is important. Last year we finished food service, we were 30,000 in the hole, And right now, we're close to being on track to being real close to breaking even. We're not in it to make money, but you also don't want to be in the hole. So our goal is to have a little bit of a cushion to where if we do have kids that are running in the red, we're not at a negative balance. That is something else that we're getting ready to start too, is we are going to have to take some of our accounts to collections. We have a couple of accounts that are extremely high. Kids are still getting fed a hot meal every day. We don't ever not feed the kids. They are given a hot meal. It's not a cheese and mayonnaise sandwich. They get a full reimbursable tray. But we have some families that are extremely in the hole to the tune of close to $2,000 for one family. So Stacy and Linda are working with the collection company and getting those turned over to try to get some of that money back. But right now, requesting permission to pay OPA for July through March, an amount of $223,734.39.
A little more conversation, I guess, in addition to the OPA charges, we're transitioning to the new program and then also paying for our own food service director, so we're incurring a cost for our food service director.
Our
right
food
now.
service director, we have been paying all the time. Even though we were with Aramark before and with OPA now, we own the employees.
Okay,
So that amount of money is not in any of those numbers that I quoted. We have been paying for that from the get-go for years and years. The cooks we own, and I pay for them out of food service, but they're not in any of these numbers. Darlene Keith, the food service director, we pay, she's our employee. That is not in any of these numbers that I'm comparing, either last year nor this year or years prior.
okay.
So while we are not going to be paying for as expensive of food and we're not paying for the food service management company, we are going to be adding an assistant food director. But the cost of that position is grossly less than paying more expensive food and a management company. So we're going to have a savings there.
And is all that paid out of the school lunch fund?
Yes,
Okay. Even the employees? are-
yes. Yeah, even the cooks and the certified director, yes. And when you compare that number to the balance that's in food service right now, there's not enough in food service right now to pay this $223, but we have cash on hand. So what we'll do is, we are still waiting on the March and April claim from the state. That should be about $75,000 that we're still waiting on. And then on top of that, right now, we're close to, I just ran that Friday, wasn't it close to $8,000 in the hole of student negative accounts that we're going after through collections.
Does it cost us to turn them into collections? Is there?
I'm sure it will. We're actually dealing with a new company that has been on the WESC co-op that we just joined for procurement. We're not sure what it's going to cost, but I'm sure there's going to be a percentage, a service fee. They're not going to do it for free,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I was just curious if there was a,
Yeah. And we have to provide, how we tried to contact these families. We have the emails, we have the phone calls, we have the certified letters. We have documentation that we have to give the collection company to of outreach.
So is there any further discussion, any further recommendation to pay the food service bill? I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. President, make a motion to pay the food service bill to OPA.
Nathan made a motion, I have a second.
Mr. President, I'll second the motion to pay the food service bill as presented.
John seconded. All in favor? Board will pass.
Next item on the agenda, requesting permission to purchase advertisements through Shake Broadcasting for WAMW and WRZR. I talked to Dwayne Shake today, and He is actually running a special right now for 100 ads at the cost of $500. He said he would either produce whatever we asked him to say, or we could even get testimonials. He will work with us on what those advertisements say and, you know, what kind of image we want to portray. But as part of the outreach, trying to do a better job of getting our name out and sharing all the wonderful things that we are doing in this corporation, I'm requesting permission to buy 2 sets of 100 ads at a total cost of $1,000, which is a discount of $200. We're saving $200 if we do it this month. He said he's actually running a promotional. It's usually $600 for 100 ads, and we can get them for $500 for 100 ads. And they would be ran on WAMW and WRZR. 100 of them would be done by June, and then he would allow us to use the other ones in July, which would be opportune time for registration and getting geared up for next year.
Have we done the, well, I think,
Yeah, we've done the Saturday morning.
yeah, the Take 5,
Mhm.
community Take 5?
Yep,
Okay, I
we've
just
done
want to
that.
make sure we've done that also.
Yeah, I did one, I think, 3 weeks ago. And then I know Mrs. Judy has done one as well. We usually do those twice a year.
See, I heard Mrs. Judy's, but I wanted to make, I didn't know if anyone else had done them or where we're at with that.
Yeah, any further discussion? I think it's a good thing, and a really discounted way to get your word out. And I'm sure, I think the way they set that up is they'll rotate it amongst different listening windows over the several weeks, so you capture a broader group of listeners based on their listening behavior. So you've heard the recommendation. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
I make the motion to approve Shake Broadcasting as presented here.
Rob made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any second, all in favor? 4-0 pass.
Next item on the agenda, as a continued outreach to advertise what we're doing. It had been mentioned an interest in looking at the cost of billboards. In your packets, you were given a proposal from JR Promotions LLC Outdoor Advertising. Mrs. Stuffel has been diligent in communicating with Kevin from this company. We have targeted a potential of 4 bulletin board or billboards. One of those billboards is just south of County Road 500. All of these are on I-69. So just south of County Road 500 North. It is for northbound traffic. It is the top billboard at that location. And then that one would be $4,400 per year. And then the other billboard is just south of our exit for northbound traffic. It's right out here by Cornelius Manufacturing. It's called a double because they're side by side. And we would get both halves of that, the left half and the right half, for a total cost of a little over $6,000 for the year. And then the 4th billboard is north of the Crane exit, so north of the 231 exit, and that is for southbound traffic, and it's on the left-hand side of I-69 as you're driving south, and that one would be $4,400 per year. They've also targeted the amount of weekly views. The one that is south of County Road 500 and the ones at our exit, they average about over 70,000 views per week. The one that is north of 231 is averaging just shy of 96,000 views per week. Again, it would be a great way for us to advertise our programming, whether it's our CTE, whether it's just anything else that we want to promote. I know in the packet, there's more of a picture representation on where they're at. I did ask about, I know Mr. Rodich had a question about, if we're the top billboard, what kind of guarantee do we have what's going to be on that bottom billboard? he said they keep that in mind before they allow someone that may be of questionable content be right next to a school. He said, while there's no guarantees, he did share, he goes, we do not advertise anything that's pornographic. He said, but, you know, anything else, whether it be like an alcohol, you know, a liquor store or anything else like that, he said we would be cognizant and do our extreme best to make sure it's not adjacent to one of our billboards. So, you know, to be honest, I'm flexible. If we think 2 of them are good enough, you know, the one by Washington is what I label it as, and the one by Bloomfield and Crane is enough to start with, or do we want to do all 4? I don't feel that the one right at our exit is enough, that double one. And by the time they get to that one, they're here. I felt like we needed to really push our envelope to the extreme of our school district to let them know, hey, guess what's getting ready to come up, and these are great things that we're doing. Check out North Davies. All in, to do all 4 per year would be $14,930.
Yeah, we can open up for discussion here before we bring a motion, but this is kind of, all of this is for the purpose of getting the word out and attracting folks to our school and keeping folks in our school, twofold. It's really it's hard to measure the success coming out of it, but in my opinion, it certainly can't hurt to get in front of people's ears, eyes, and devices like we're doing, or what we're suggesting here, and really you know, communicating what our school is, and attracting folks to our school.
I agree, 100%. We need to advertise, that other schools in the area have been doing it for a while. What the outcome will be, we don't know, but I certainly think that we need to make not only our school visible, but people on the roads, you know, knowledgeable what is upcoming. Look at the campus, and not just drive by it. You know, that could be a big plus for us. So that's my opinion.
When you look at the cost between the Shake advertising that's been approved and the request for this billboard approval, it's a little over 2 kids. And, you know, current ADM reimbursement for state tuition is about $7,400 a kid. So if we gain 2 kids, and I'm hoping that we gain more than that, it's been money well spent.
I like the, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of torn on this pretty hard. Because I like, if we're gonna do it, we need to do it individually, in my opinion, versus a
What do you
whole,
mean?
like, vote on each billboard individually,
Oh, okay.
not as a whole. That's how I'd like to approach it. And maybe not even do that. I don't know, I'm still, I don't know.
I'm in favor of all of it, but there's 2 of them on here, we'll just say 5 miles apart, and they're both between the Washington exit, what does it say, County Road 500, P. Ryan's Road, just south of that, and then one here at Corn Pro. I don't know that you need 2.
Right.
That's where I was going with it.
Now,
yeah.
I'd trade one of those. It doesn't look like you have one to catch northbound traffic that may be exiting at Washington and not coming past the Washington exit. But we have 2 on the same side of the road between Washington and Elmore.
I don't think there's any available for southbound traffic between exit 76 and Washington. Is that what you're saying, Nathan?
Well-
And I can research it again and ask.
Well, I mean, once you get past the exit out here, whatever you want to call this one, I wouldn't be as not that I'd be against it, I wouldn't be as interested in a billboard for the southbound traffic as I would for the northbound traffic.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, we have two for northbound traffic between Washington
Correct.
and the school here.
Mhm.
But we don't have any south of the Washington exit
So you're saying maybe
to catch
possibly-
the eye of someone that maybe isn't gonna pass the Washington exit and maybe won't even be coming.
I see what you're saying. So maybe in lieu of using the double right here at our exit, that is northbound, maybe you look at, and I haven't asked, to see, is there anything further south for northbound traffic?
South of
the
Washington.
Washington exit,
In between
Like
Petersburg
the
and
one-
in
Washington.
between Petersburg and Washington.
Like
per
the
se.
one, the Crane, the one you had, the Bloomfield Crane one, that's north of that exit.
Mhm.
So somebody's gonna see that. That may be exiting up there. You
Right,
what
I see what you're saying there, yes.
But someone coming from the south that is going to exit at Washington, there's nothing for them to see. But if they come past the Washington exit, they're gonna look at two of them before they get to Elmora. I don't
Would you
know.
be comfortable, if this is what the board would like, doing let's say we do the Crane exit one, which is option D as in dog on your agenda, and then approving up to 4,400 for one that is south of the Washington exit for northbound traffic?
And I'm not opposed to one between here and Washington, but I don't know if we need two.
I would
especially-
agree. Those two are extremely close. The one right at our exit makes sense because just to announce what's coming up. But I don't know if it's going to, I think when they get to that point, they know it's there. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're announcing the obvious, but,
Especially if we get an NDOT sign too.
right, if we get a,
Now we
right,
get an NDOT
if we get a
sign.
destination sign from NDOT,
Then,
it's not gonna be as eye-catching, but it would announce it. I mean, I don't have a problem asking for, in lieu of one of these or two of these or whatever, south of the Washington exit for northbound traffic. I agree with that.
I'm not against any of it, I just
that's kind of,
You're thinking about better placement.
yes.
make sure we're,
Okay, well, so we got one, north of the Crane exit,
Mhm.
southbound, but in theory, daily commuter would see it at some point during the day. We got one right out here, south of this intersection. And the one in question would be the one north of the Washington intersection, because you're basically hitting the same leg of road
Right.
between the two. Well, and this one out here is two halves, right? So it's actually not two
Side
sides,
by
Yeah,
two
side by
halves.
side.
Two halves. Well, it doesn't mean that we can't revisit it, but I'd love to go ahead and just vote on these each individually.
Yeah.
And if we don't agree with, if it's the pleasure of the board not to do the one at the Washington exit in lieu of something else, then we can revisit that. So, go with it, and let the process work itself here with a little vote. And so that way we can probably move out on something sooner rather than later, and then find the details. at a later date.
And if something is voted no or down, that doesn't say everybody's against the situation, it just may be finding a better,
Yeah,
an alternative sign per se.
If that is something we're considering.
Yes.
I would appreciate if the motion would say, like, if we're going to do individually, so option A is the one that is in question.
Yes.
To say, we would approve this billboard at this rate, or another billboard south of the Washington exit for northbound traffic at the same rate. That would make me feel more comfortable that,
Just doing a bunch of legwork for no reason.
well, and I could get the ball rolling. If I call Kevin tomorrow and he says, yeah, I've got one south of the Washington exit for northbound traffic and it'll be the same cost, boom, we can get it going and we can still ensure that it'll be up in June.
yeah. Can we add an E for that? I don't know if we want to approve you to say, do that one to the north or the south. All right, like you just
How would you
suggested.
word E? Tell me what you're thinking there.
Approve up to $4,400 for a billboard northbound or southbound, south of the Washington exit.
So then not do A at all, essentially.
Yeah,
Because you're, just basically changing it either north or south of the Washington exit at the rate of $4,400 per year.
no, south of the exit, to southbound, northbound traffic.
We've already got the northbound.
So it's currently, the option A is for northbound traffic north of the Washington exit.
Yeah,
We're wanting to hit northbound traffic south of the Washington exit, correct?
northbound or southbound.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I mean,
okay, that's fine.
I think northbound would make more sense, but
Yeah.
if you don't have that option, then.
Right, yeah, I don't know what's available.
Well, I mean,
I'm
you're
fine
already,
doing that. I mean, that's, if you guys want to make that motion, that gives me some flexibility on what four we can choose. I mean, I know for sure B, C, and D are available. I know A is available. I will try to get the E option, I just don't know. I'd have to ask Kevin.
So we would still go ahead and do all, if we do a motion, we could do all four of these and add another one that would be on the south side of the exit.
I think it would replace A.
It would replace A.
replace
E would replace A.
Okay, so, eliminate A if there's something available
Correct.
south of the exit at Washington.
Yes.
Okay. Can I make a motion as such?
But I think we're going to do them all individually, right? You want to do A?
Yeah, we can vote on A, and then we can do B, C, and D together.
I think we need to vote on all individually.
Okay, yeah, so, you all right with that, Jody?
I'm fine with that. I'm taking notes.
It's a sloppy, but we'll get it done. All right, so we've heard the recommendations for billboard A, which is located north of the Washington exit. I'll entertain a motion now to either approve or deny that.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the billboard, north of Washington, south of County Road 500 North.
And a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
I'm seconding, all in favor? 2-0. Doesn't matter.
Okay. That's fine.
What did it do?
Did not pass.
No, that's okay.
Okay, so
Option B, that's here, south of this interchange here, northbound traffic, half of the sign, and C is the other half of the sign. So we'll vote on option B right now, or entertain a motion, vote on option B.
Mr. President, I make a motion we approve option B as presented.
Made a motion, do I have a second?
so that fails
Don't
for
even
lack of
want
a
to vote
second.
on it? Don't even want to vote on it?
Well, we can make a motion. I mean, if it doesn't second, then there isn't a vote.
So it'll fail for lack of a second.
Okay, option C.
Which is the Elmore exit, the right-hand side.
Entertain a motion at this time? No motion for option C? Wish I could make a motion. Option D, Bloomfield Crane exit.
Mr.
Southbound
President,
traffic.
I make a motion to approve the recommendation for the billboard at the Bloomfield Crane exit, north of the Crane exit.
Nathan made a motion, second.
I'll second.
John seconded, all in favor? All opposed?
No, I was thinking, sorry.
Four, 4-0 pass. Yeah, so,
And then option E, are we gonna go with an option E, that southbound or northbound traffic south of the Washington exit?
I think that's, I mean, that's what I would like,
Okay.
and I would have been okay with one in between here in Washington, but,
yeah.
I would prefer northbound because we've got south, if we can get north. You know what I'm saying? Is that, I mean, if there was one or the other, I
Right.
think north would be better than south, to catch crossings, you know, and see where we're at with that. 'Cause
All right, I'll entertain a motion for a sign south of the Washington exit.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the recommendation for a north or southbound billboard, preferably northbound, south of the Washington exit.
maybe before we go any further, we put a money cap on these or?
Probably be $4,400. It's
Or less.
consistent with the-
I'd say that'll give it 4,400. So southbound or northbound, preferably northbound, south of the Washington exit at a rate of $4,400 per year. That would be the motion that I would request. Nathan, is that the motion you're in agreement to?
Yeah, I think so,
Okay.
Nathan made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
because
John
that's,
seconds it.
yeah, that was the same, yeah, it was same as the crane,
Yeah, same rate of pay.
yep.
I have a second, John seconded, all in favor? 4-0 passed.
I will get on the horn tomorrow with Kevin from JR Promotions and we'll see what's available and get the ball rolling.
That's just great
Just to be
exercise.
clear-
If you want to come back later, talk
If I
about
find
something out here, yeah.
And it may be that we do something with the side of the Twin Rivers. We have some buildings that are pretty prominent from the interstate as well,
Yeah.
that we could put signage on the side of.
So we're just gonna add 2 billboards, is that correct?
Yes,
One for sure and the possibility of a second if available.
if available. Our goal is to have 2.
And if there's nothing available on the south side, that we'll come
I'll
back.
come back and tell you what options we have.
Okay.
It won't be up as soon as the one that's by the Blue Crane exit. That's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Next item, donations. We have several donations from Iota Row Chapter Psi, Iota Xi Inc. They are donating $800 total, $300 to the junior senior high school choir department, $250 to the ND Elementary Speech and Hearing Department, $100 to the North Davis Elementary Music Department, and $150 to the North Davis Elementary Nurse. Then from Mrs. Jerry Bennington, in memory of her husband, Tommy Bennington, $500 to the North Davis FFA. And from First Savings Bank, the balance of Fill the Bus money of $964.37 to North Davis Elementary. The elementary will be taking over those supplies that were left and the money to help with Fill the Bus, and they will use it as they see fit toward student needs. So request permission to accept these 3 organizations or people donating the money, as noted.
Yeah, you do have a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion to accept the donations as presented, and I'd also like to thank everyone who donates to North Davis in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely, John made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Nathan seconded, all in favor? 4-0 pass.
Overnight field trips, we have 2 different organizations with requests for overnighters. Boys basketball is requesting permission for the high school basketball team to Indiana Wesleyan University in Marion, Indiana on June 12th to the 14th. So they would be overnight on the 12th and overnight on the 13th. And then their junior high basketball teams to Hanover College in Hanover, Indiana from June 17th to the 18th, so they would just be overnight on the 17th. That's the first one.
Will you take a motion regarding,
I'm just curious, what are they doing?
It's a team basketball camp. We did it several years ago, I can't tell you how many years, but it's team building and they play a lot of games. But it's they're actual basketball camps and tourneys that happen as part of the camp.
If I'm not mistaken, it's JV and varsity also.
I believe so, I think there's JV levels and varsity.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it is.
okay, I'll entertain any further discussion and a motion regarding the field trips with basketball team.
Mr. President, I make a motion to accept the boys' basketball field trips Indiana Wesleyan and Hanover College.
John made the motion, do I have a second? Second. Rob seconded. All in favor? 4-0 pass.
The second overnight field trip is FFA State Convention, which is being held at the Arena in Noblesville, Indiana, June 15th through the 18th. So they would be overnight, the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th. They'll compete in state events, running for district office, receiving state awards, and touring local ag businesses. It's a total of 10 students and 2 chaperones.
Okay, do I have a motion for that, to approve the FFA State Convention?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the state convention.
Rob made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Nathan seconded. All in favor? 4-0 pass.
Future meeting dates, June 15th and July 20th, both at 7 p.m. That's just informational.
All right. Nothing further. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ron seconded, all in favor? 4-0 pass.